The order of the spiritual master is the active principle in spiritual life. Anyone who disobeys the order of the spiritual master immediately becomes useless. Purport. Here the opinion of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Persons who strictly follow the orders of the spiritual master are useful in executing the will of the Supreme, whereas persons who deviate from the strict orders of the spiritual master are useless. Om Gyanatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Miritam Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utavpadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Caitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vikasa Swami Niti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastaja Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Achayera mataye se matasar tangra agya langi chale seita asar. The order of the spiritual master is the active principle in spiritual life. Anyone who disobeys the order of the spiritual master immediately becomes useless. So we are in the chapter 12, expansions of Advaita Acharya and Gadadhar Pandit. Chapters explaining the potency and influence, power of the Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's closest associates. We must understand these great personalities in order to appreciate the Leelas of Lord Caitanya, which will take place later on in this Caitanya Caritamrta. And here we are looking at the expanses of Advaita Acharya. In the beginning, we got to know that there were some who did not accept the teachings of Advaita Acharya, so they are neglected by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. They're not even mentioning them. It might sound strict or very, let's say, conservative or not so merciful, but this is just the culture of spiritual life. Yasya devi parabhaktir yata Yasya devi parabhaktir yata devi tataguro tasyaita katatayarta pakashante mahatmana. That only those who have firm faith and devotion to the Supreme and Guru, all the confidential knowledge of the Vedas can be revealed. So if these people don't want to follow their Guru, the Acharya, then so be it. They cannot be saved. There's nothing you can do. And the same applies for the followers of ISKCON or in any sampradaya, actually. Welcome to the Vedic culture. It's a very authoritative culture. Guru Sadhu Shastra. It's very authoritative. As Tamal Krishna Goswami once said to one, there was a Q&A, and he said that ISKCON is very authoritative. We must follow Guru Sadhu Shastra. We have temple presidents, we have GBC, we have Diksha Gurus, Shiksha Gurus. The wife should follow the instructions of the husband should follow the instructions of the Guru. There's authorities everywhere. And he said, if if you have difficulties with this, if you have problems with accepting this, then ISKCON may not be the organization for you, frankly speaking. Very clear. There's no sugarcoating, nothing. Just this is how it is. And this is how we live, this is our lifestyle. And this is Sampradaya. In a small book by Suhotra Maharaj, he's explaining the word Sampradaya. Sama Pradaya comes from the word Pradhan. Sama means connecting. And Pradaya is a bent word of Pradhan, means source. So connecting to the source. In another explanation of the translation of Sampradaya, Srila Prabhupada gives spiritual culture. So the Acharya is creating a culture out of his teachings. We see Ramanuja Acharya. He wrote a comment on the Vedanta Sutta called Sri Bhashya, and he created a culture out of this. So there we had Sri Sampradaya. Very much established culture, very respected in South India. Same thing with Madhvacharya. His teachings also established a culture. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu also established a culture. It's a Sampradaya. It's a Shakabed branch of the Madhva Sampradaya, but it is a Gaudiya Sampradaya. So, this is how it works. So if one do not want to accept the teachings of the Acharya, you are disconnected from the Pradhan, from the source, and you are lost into your own mental speculation. Mental speculation means your mind, your guru, that's your guru, the mind. It will dictate you here and there according to what you like and dislike, and you'll get nowhere, absolutely nowhere. So even Krishna is saying that those who neglect my instructions, they're lost. So we cannot trust anyone who's not connected to a Sampradaya. That's just how it is. It doesn't matter how many PhDs he has in the Upanishads, in the Vedas, Mahabharata, doesn't matter. If he's not connected to a Sampradaya, neglect him immediately. He has nothing to say of value. So this is the culture. We worship the Guru actually in this culture. So some may come to the temple and think it's very weird why we are worshipping a human being. But for us it's not weird. This is how you do it, because without his mercy we cannot get anywhere. As Krishna is saying, the spiritual master is just like my own self. So coming to Krishna consciousness in ISKCON, we have to accept the instructions of Srila Prabhupada. The will of the Supreme Lord is the will of Prabhupada. The will of Prabhupada is the will of the Supreme Lord. When we come here to the Krishna consciousness movement and we want to take it seriously, we have to take Diksha initiation. We have to accept the instructions of Diksha and Shiksha. The Shiksha should also be worshipped as the Diksha Guru, because their instructions should be non-different from each other. Shiksha Gurus are, I would say, still pretty much underrated in this movement. We want to be very, very close to the Diksha as much as possible. That is understandable, because it's a Diksha that we choose. We choose that Guru, so therefore it's a very special Guru. The Shiksha we may not choose, because Krishna can send you the Shiksha Guru, and there can be the person, the mentor, which can help you with your devotion to your Diksha. And that Guru we may accept or not. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he stressed very much the importance of Shiksha Guru. We see in today's ISKCON that some gurus have so many disciples, it is not possible to reach him even. So even if you write 10 emails, you will not get an answer. That's the situation. It's very sad. Myself, I find it very, very comfortable that it's very easy to reach my Diksha Guru, answers within 1-2 days, and get immediate instructions from him. It feels very safe, it feels very comfortable, and there's a feeling of connection there. But others may not have this connection, and they might feel not so connected. Even though if you follow the instruction of the Guru, you will be connected, but to get some exchange of words with the Guru is helping. But if you have a proper Shiksha Guru, and you have gotten an instruction from your Diksha, that Shiksha Guru can help you in following the instruction of your Diksha, and then you will make advancement. Actually, the Shiksha Guru is much more easier to have contact with, because the Shiksha Guru can also be inside your very own temple, which you are inside, and so therefore you're surrounded by the Shiksha all the time. And to this Shiksha Guru you can disclose your mind, which we must do regularly, especially if something is on our mind, we need to explain something is wrong. The senior Vaishnavas will definitely see that something is wrong if you have your head down towards the floor and there's no sunshine flowing out of your ears, and you don't jump in kirtan, and you're mostly avoiding Vaishnava or Sadhu Sangha, something is wrong. And if you're not happy, something must be corrected, but it cannot be corrected unless you reveal your mind to someone in confidence. And that should be the Shiksha Guru. Someone who is more advanced than you, someone who does not have the attachments that you have, someone who is more in Sattva Guna, someone who is more in transcendence, which you are, or else that person cannot help you. If you approach someone who has the same problem as you, how can he help you? It doesn't work. So we must have these persons around us all the time. Especially with the men, can be so complicated that they think that the good thing to do is to close myself inside a room with my own mind, and somehow I will figure things out. And then I will just go out there and just Haribol, like, yeah, I did it, I got out of the mess. No, that will never work, because it was the same mind that put you into the trouble you're in. Therefore you have to go to someone else who does not have the same mind as you, naturally. So the men and their complicated minds, they must stop this. If you're not happy, you must seek help. If you're not happy in Krishna consciousness, something is seriously wrong. So find a Shiksha Guru who you know is more advanced than you, who is more serious, more determined, more happy than you are in Krishna consciousness. Approach him, ask for help, if you have that kind of relationship. So you will advance in this way. Especially when the Diksha Guru is not around. You need to do this, or else you will not survive. You might get married if you don't take help from a more advanced devotee. How do you choose your Diksha Guru? Everyone must take that decision to be initiated at some point. If you can chant 16 rounds, if you can follow the 4 regulated principles, it must be done. Take your time, look around properly, and pray to Krishna to send him, so he will send you a guru which you can surrender upon. You should not take a guru which inspires you. Why, you might ask? Should I not take a guru who inspires you? Because the inspirations come and go. It just comes and go. Sometimes the guru is inspiring you, and sometimes he's not. You should take the person whom you want to surrender to. That whatever this man says, I will do. Without hesitation. Whatever he says, I will do. No, that's the guru you should have. Otherwise, keep on looking. But don't take too much time, please. Or else you will never take one. You will never pick one. I've known devotees who have been around. They have just been around, you know. They have been around in ISKCON for so long, so many years. They know everything, inside, outside. They know the history of ISKCON. They know the principles. They kind of know the culture, even though they come from the West. Still, they refuse to take initiation. And it's sad, because these people will go nowhere. What you get is like a shadow effect of the bhakti. But if you have chosen not to take Diksha, it means that you have not actually put your full faith in Krishna and his process. You haven't. The yagya, like that, it's formalities. When you take the beads in your hand, the vows, yes, they must be there. But the real Diksha is the faith, the Shraddha in the Guru. That's the real initiation. And when you do what he wants you to do and do not do what he does not want you to do, then that's the initiation. Then you will experience the connection. Then you will advance, actually, and you will get purification of your heart. That's the real Diksha. These are the things that are formalities. So take your time, pray a lot, but at some point you have to make a decision and surrender. There's been some what's the name? Doubts that there has been so many fall downs in the past. Yeah, it has. But you also said a very significant word: past. It happened in the past. It's not happening anymore. Relax. We are way more strict in our movement now than we were many years ago. You can relax. They are definitely very, very capable spiritual masters today. Very much. So don't let this fool you. When Prabhupada left, ISKCON needed to learn. But ISKCON needed to start to walk on its own. And mistakes were made, but we have had leaders who have decided to learn from the mistakes and improve. And that has happened. So if someone has these kind of doubts, just put them aside. Get serious. It's worth it. It's really worth it. Anyone who has served their spiritual master sincerely can say, yes, it is worth it. When that connection gets real, it is real. And you become disinterested in material pleasures and all the allurements it has to give. It's a promise. You just ask. Anyone who's been around and who's determined in his practice, who's smiling, who feels connected to the holy name, just ask the person. You can see that this person has served his guru, his spiritual master well. And it is amazing. So, then we must understand the position of Prabhupada. Must not be overlooked. Prabhupada is the Acharya of ISKCON. He's the grandfather of us all. And the Guru's instructions should be in line with Prabhupada's desires, because Prabhupada's desires is the desires of the Supreme Lord, which are many. It's not only chanted 16 rounds, following 4 regular principles. Those are the basics. They are the basics. For example, when someone is asking, Bhakti Vikas Swami, they're asking, can I get a special instruction? Yes, your special instruction is to chant 16 rounds and follow 4 regular principles. That's your special instruction. What's so special about that? Well, it is special, because that's the basics. That's the foundation of the whole. That's the foundation of your whole Krishna conscious life. To chant properly 16 rounds a day is no small thing. If we travel around a little, we can see devotees when they're chanting their japa in the morning. Some are standing or sitting in front of Prabhupada. Some are standing in front of the Mahamantra on the wall. Some are listening to Prabhupada in the ear. They're just doing anything to focus on the Mahamantra properly. They just do whatever it takes. That's good. That's proper. Prabhupada said that 95% of our Krishna consciousness relies on the proper chanting of the Mahamantra on the japa. That's 95%. That's much. That's a lot. So we need to master the basics. We have to learn to master the basics. Then the rest will go smoothly. The kirtans, the book distribution, the reading of Prabhupada's books, following the cultural principles we need to follow according to Varna and Ashram will also be easier. We will also understand them properly if we chant properly. We have a proper appreciation of the rules and regulations. Like, for example, in the beginning stage, not Raganuga Bhakti, but the level beneath. What's it called? Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. We may not have an appreciation of the rules and regulations. We may not understand why they're there. But if we chant properly, if our sadhana is strong, we will appreciate them, and we will follow them. Even though we might be on the Raganuga platform, we will understand why they're there, and we will follow them because that's how Krishna likes to be served. But when we are not on the proper platform, we might see the rules and regulations as something bothersome. This is in the, you can read this, Bhanu Swami is explaining this in the beginning of the booklet for deity worship. And I've forgotten the name, but it says that in the preface and introduction. Deity worship, that's also a way to pure devotion, but chanting of the Mahamantra must be there. And when that connection with the Supreme is starting to manifest, then you will understand the importance of the regulated principles, and you will follow them automatically, and you will want to follow them like that. So, japa, master the basics. And then other desires of the spiritual master, you will understand them also. What Prabhupada wants is still under discussion, unfortunately. Some things should not be discussed, like the establishment of Varnashram Dharma. It's pointed out so many times by Prabhupada in his books and lectures. Still, people doubt that is really necessary. Some people are still discussing if we should have gurukuls or not. It's really clear that Prabhupada wanted Gurukuls. And how the education should look for boys and girls, that boys should go to Gurukul under a guru, and girls should be trained in a home environment. It doesn't matter if they learn ABC, even. It's stated there, you can find it. So these things are still under discussion, what Prabhupada wants, and that's natural, we should discuss these things. Some devotees in ISKCON are following more liberal ideas in ISKCON, okay, and some are following more traditional values. That's fine. That's fine. As Prabhupada said when he came to the West, you cannot change the people and their culture in one day. You cannot do that. So, but one thing for sure is that Prabhupada wanted Varnashram Dharma established. Even though the bhakti process is above Varnashram, Prabhupada has clearly said that ISKCON should show the example of how people should live in this Kali Yuga. In a world of birth, old age, birth, death, disease, Prabhupada wanted ISKCON to be the example for whole humanity in all aspects of human life. Sociology, philosophy, what to eat, what not to eat, cleanliness, all aspects of human life, ISKCON should be the example of all of them. And so Varnashram is that's how you show the example. So we must study Prabhupada's books, classes, conversations very thoroughly to understand what he wants. Not everyone will do this because not everyone will be such bookworms, but we have brahmanas here in this movement, and we should give them the time to study Prabhupada's books so that every temple can have at least one brahmana. One brahmana who has studied Prabhupada's books thoroughly and understood the culture, and thus have the vision for the temple where they're supposed to go and what needs to be done in order to establish the vision which Prabhupada had. It's not enough to have a temple president, one must have a brahmana in the temple also, and they should work together to realize this vision of Prabhupada. Because the temple president, which is represented the kshatriya, cannot rule without a brahmana. Because the brahmana should not be involved in administration, that's the temple president, but brahmana should be well versed in the scriptures and then help the temple president in how to manifest the vision. So then the brahmana has his field and the kshatriya, the temple president, has his field. And then they will not work too much, not work too little. And both will be satisfied. And the rest in the temple will know what to do, and under the dictation of the temple president, and the temple will develop according to the vision of Prabhupada, and we will get the blessings of Prabhupada, and we will advance very nicely in our Krishna consciousness. And people will be drawn to these places because they see the culture that these people are so clean inside and outside, that this place will become irresistible. That's the Vaishnava. The Vaishnava is irresistible because he's so pure. Just like Prabhupada. He was so pure, he could attract everyone. Despite background, despite cultural differences, cultural convictions, he attracted everyone. That's the Vaishnava. So, conclusion. Authority is the Vedic culture. Guru Sadhu Shastra, and we must learn to surrender to authority in order to get the blessings. Because if we don't surrender to authority, we will follow our own authority called the mind, and we get nowhere. Period. Find your Shiksha Guru whom you can have such a relationship with. Take shelter of such a Shiksha Guru so that you can learn, so that he can teach you to serve your Diksha Guru properly. And if you don't have a Guru, find one. If you can follow the principles, find one. If you cannot follow the principles, work on that. And take your time, but know that when enough is enough, you don't have to make a choice. Prabhupada is the founder Acharya of ISKCON. We cannot advance without his blessings, so we must do what he wants us to do. Period. If you have any doubts of what Prabhupada wants, read his books, study his conversations, ask senior devotees, his Prabhupada's closest disciples. You can ask. The biggest problem for Western devotees especially is the trust in authorities. That is the last limb that is being beaten right now. Last limb of Dharma, the trust, is being beaten, but we must not give it up. We must keep it strong. ISKCON is the only hope to establish trust in authority. If we can learn to do that, we will make the people outside understand what they're doing wrong. They'll say, oh wow, these people are following this person on this wooden throne so with such determination, and they got something out of, they got something of substance. They are happy, they're peaceful, they're selfless, they're very clean. They must be doing something right. That's what convinced me when I came to a festival in Sweden. These guys are doing something correct because they have this purity which you cannot find outside. So I should pay attention to what they're doing. So because they were following Prabhupada. So I got convinced. And so we're sitting here because we met people who were convinced. So we must do the same. We must follow in the footsteps. We must trust the God-given authorities. Purify ourselves. Then people will see that here is substance. So thank you so much for your kind attention. Any questions or comments? Yes.
While you were speaking about the quality of the Vaishnava, that he is irresistible, I was just wondering, it seems somehow that while Srila Prabhupada was still in India before going to the West, in Jhansi and other places, it seems that the people were quite resilient to his trying to spread Krishna consciousness. And after he went to America and came back again to India with his disciples, then it seems like people in India kind of accepted what he was giving.
Yeah.
So could you maybe say something about that?
Yeah. You're correct. I accept that. Maybe he was not irresistible to everyone, but let's say that those in Gyansi, for example, Prabhupada certainly made his mark in their minds. That they may not agree with him, or may not want to be with him, but we can safely say that everyone who has met him can definitely say that this man was special. And so Prabhupada left a strong impression in their minds That we can definitely say for sure. Even if they didn't like him, still, they were probably in his mind. He was probably in their mind. Which is a quality of the Vaishnava. You cannot understand, as it is said, you cannot understand a pure devotee. It's just not possible, because he is on this transcendental platform. You cannot understand him, how he thinks. And so when we have someone who is just working against the masses, who is preaching so passionately about a message, and is fearless, going against Vox Populi, it leaves a mark, because everyone is in their track. You know, they have their convictions, they have the track they're going every day, based on sense gratification and personal ambitions. And here we have a person who has seemingly no ambitions for himself, but is always speaking about this Krishna all the time. That leaves a mark. So friends or enemies to Prabhupada, they all remember him. So yeah, good point. Thank you. I think that's what I have to say on that. Yeah, thank you. Anything else? Yes.
Speaking about an ashram and dharma and establishing an ashram, I guess farm communities, or I don't know, an ashram in the cities if that's possible. So you were saying about different roads, and I heard that Prabhupada was thinking to establish an ashram academy, so that each of the different people can learn how to be in different varnas, and I guess ashrams as well. So do you know, maybe is that probably one of the first things? You're going now to the Malaysia, then they have some project about this, right?
We're not at that stage yet. First we have to find the people who wants to be there. In the beginning, you will be able to work outside, but gradually we will want to have the people work inside the community full time at some point. When that will be in the future, you have to take small steps all the time. You should have the vision where you're going, but small steps all the time. This is also the advice of the local sannyasi, His Holiness Bhakti Sundar Caitanya Maharaj. Small steps all the time. Fulfilling one aspect of the mission at a time, and see where you are, what kind of people do you have, do we have enough people, what resources do we have, what land do we have, what land is available, where are we going to have the land, will we have a river close to it, will we have the ocean close to it, what kind of earth will we have, will we be able to grow anything. So there's a lot of consideration, things you have to consider before you make any decision. Also, you have to establish an association or a trust connected to the government, because you are, after all, taking land that belongs to the government. So there must be a collaboration there. And luckily, the government of Mauritius are in favor of ISKCON. They appreciate what ISKCON is doing. So that will help us very much. And the government has given us free land to some extent. So, keep the vision, but take small steps. So, this Varnashram Academy, where we educate all the different Varnas, at some point they will come, because all the Varnas have their divisions. For example, in Caitanya Caritamrta, in Adi-lila, we read that the Brahmanas they're not doing all the same things. Some Brahmanas are astrologers, some Brahmanas are Ayurvedic doctors, some Brahmanas are into yagyas, like that. So we will have Brahmanas who have their niche, who have their specific interest. But it's all a Brahman occupation, for example. Same thing with the Shudras. Some Shudras will making cloth. Some Shudras will be carpenters. Some Shudras will be actors. Some musicians. There's so many. I think this is called Jati Dharma. Jati, this specific occupation within a Varna, Jati Dharma. That is what Arjuna was afraid will be missed when the soldiers on the Kurukshetra will be killed, that the Jati Dharma would be lost, that the tradition, the knowledge of these great artisans would be lost, that the Jati Dharma. So all these things, what the Jati Dharma of the Vaishyas will be, I'm not sure. Of the Kshatriyas, I'm not sure. But we have to look into this. I think Bhakti Raghava Swami will have something to say about this, because he's the Varnashram minister within ISKCON. I think he can ask this. I think he can answer this question properly. It's a good question. So you see, there's a huge project we have in front of us. Exciting times, I'll say. Exciting. A lot to discover what this Vedic culture can, what it can do. So, yeah, that's the answer I can give, I guess. Thank you. Anything else?